Good morning, Alpha 40 fans. Welcome to my monthly deck tech and recap discussion video where I show you the deck that I played in the Alpha 40 League for the month of September. I'm going to make some changes for the month of October, tweak it. I'm kind of fine-tuning it. If there is an Alpha 40 tournament in MagicCon Las Vegas, I'm going to bring this deck with me and play in that tournament. Last month we ran 7 basic islands, 3 dual lands, the Tundra, Tropical Island, and the Savannah for blue, white, blue, green, and white, green. And then we ran 1 copy of Forest to run our Regrowth and Giant Growth. And 5 copies of basic planes for the white spells. So that's 16 mana sources. Well, 16 lands, I should say. There are 17 mana sources in the deck, including Soul Ring, but 16 lands is 40% of the deck. And the spells, we ran a copy artifact to copy the Black Vices, or the Soul Ring, a clone to clone our Serra Angel. I do think that should be another Serra Angel, but you could cast Serra Angel at a discount for 3 colorless and a blue if you're able to get that card out. An unsummon to possibly save your creatures from getting destroyed, or to bounce your opponent's creatures to their hand so they take damage off Black Vice. A power sink to counter their spells and tap them out, which might let you cast your Time Twister. A counter spell to save your life, or counter something that might be lethal. And then 2 copies of Psionic Blast, which did pretty good, but without COP blue, they do damage to you. Mana Short is sort of like a Time Walk. It's restricted to 1 copy in Alpha 40. And then Time Twister is the power card from the power group, which lets you discard your hand into your graveyard and shuffle that into your library and draw 7 new cards. For the white spells, last month I ran Karma, which actually worked pretty good. Karma does damage to your opponent for every swamp they have in play, so I ran into a mono black deck and was able to win 1 game with Karma. I almost won a 2nd game and won the match, but he Chaos Orbed the Karma and was able to sneak by. I do have 2 disenchants to get rid of their enchantments or artifacts. I did disenchant a Mox Jet last month. That was pretty nice. 2 Swords to Plowshares to get their creatures out of the game, and then when I Time Twister, those creatures do not come back into their deck. I can also use it in a pinch if I had to gain some life at the very end and save myself with Serra Angel. And then Regrowth is the draw card. I'm using this over Demonic Tutor. It works much better with the Time Twister. When you can play Twister and then regrow Twister, you can cast Twister again, and that should be an infinite cycle if you don't get countered. And then I was running 1 copy of Giant Growth, which I did not get to cast. And I also thought it should be a Berserk. So I picked up a Berserk, and I'm gonna put that in the deck this month. The artifacts, I'm running the 3 Black Vices, which make them take damage when they have more than 4 cards in their hand. Works really good with Time Twister because that puts 7 cards in their hand. The Soul Ring to cast artifacts and any of the spells using colorless mana. I used that to cast Chaos Orb quite a few times. And then I have the Icy Manipulator, which I can use to tap down any of their creatures if they have creatures in play, or Black Vice. If they have a Black Vice, I can use that to tap down their artifacts. And Ivory Cup was the charm that I was using last month to gain life off of my white spells, but I also thought I would use it as preventative measure in case they were on a red-white Orcish Artillery deck. Then I could gain life anytime they cast Circle of Protection red. So that didn't work so well. I did get 2 matches in last month. The first match was against a mono blue deck that was running Time Walk, Prodigal Sorcerer, Mahamodi Djinn, and they beat me in 3 games. So I got 1 of the games, and they got the other 2. That was a very close matchup. The 3rd game went to like the last few life points, so that was a really close matchup. Karma was a dead card in that matchup, so I considered taking it out, but figured I could probably make some other adjustments elsewhere in the deck, like with the Ivory Cup Giant Growth region that might help against mono blue. And then the second match I played, I also lost in 3 games, 1 game to 2 to a mono black deck where Karma was the star they were running Drain Lives, Hypnotic Specters, Black Knights, and Sinkholes. Sinkholes were really good at taking out my white mana sources so that I couldn't Swords to Plowshare their creatures. I did get Karma in, but they had about 5 or 6 swamps in play, so Karma was doing 5 damage to them on their turn. That was pretty good. But I needed also a way to get beyond some of their creatures. With Sengir Vampire and Serra Angel are evenly matched up, so they just would trade creatures. So for that reason, I'm going to put in this copy of Berserk that I picked up this month. This is going to help get my Serra Angels past their Sengir Vampires, and I'm going to take out the Giant Growth that I never got to use. So that's going out. And then finally, Ivory Cup. I'm going to take out Ivory Cup for the white spells and use Crystal Rod to gain life off of the blue spells. So I have blue spells. I can definitely gain life when I cast blue spells, possibly when I unsummon my creatures or unsummon their creatures, or even when I Psionic Blast for 2 colorless and a blue, I can pay 2 more colorless and prevent the 2 damage to myself by gaining 2 life off the Crystal Rod. That's the goal. Also, I'm thinking that the win condition, most likely, if it's not them taking damage from the Black Vices by having more than 4 cards in their hand, the win condition is probably Serra Angel Berserk. I'm probably going to have to get rid of their creatures or counter their creature spells. Have Serra Angel on the board with no other creatures in play, and then Berserk Serra and attack for 8 trample and maybe take them out that way. So that's my thought process on some of the tweaks to this deck and make it a little more efficient. If I take it to Vegas for the Alpha 40 tournament, I'll let you know. I'll make more content just about that tournament on the side, just so you can see what those matches were like, and if I decide to make any tweaks from this deck to that deck. During the month of October, I'll mention that as well. But right now, this is the league deck that I'm going to run for the month of October. I'll post this video at the end of the month so you can see what I played after I played it, not so that you can get my deck list before you play me. That's kind of the idea of the timing of these videos. So I'll take a deck pick as well and then post that so you can see what the 40 cards were. I like Blue White a lot. It's not the classic Serra Angel Mahamoti Djinn deck, which requires a lot of mana to cast some of those spells, because I like the Black Vices a lot. I like to keep the Black Vice and Time Twister combo in there. So it's sort of a casual, not super competitive deck, but it's got a lot of fun spells that I like to play. So I always say, play what you like. That makes the best Magic the Gathering experience for myself. And rather than playing a deck that is just aggressive and wins a lot, unless that's your strategy. But like to have fun and play a little spicy. Some spice is fun as well. So I guarantee you, mono black players are not always expecting Karma, and they're going to need Chaos Orb to get rid of Karma, because black doesn't really have any counterspell or removal. So that's why I keep Disenchants handy and some counterspells to counterspell their Chaos Orb. Awesome. So that's the deck for the month of October. I'll post this video in a few weeks and let you know how it did, and then I'll follow up next month and let you know how that did. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Alpha 40 content. I appreciate everybody for watching and liking and commenting below. Have a great month, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.